Hello, John, a happy place. December session for you, and as you can see, bit of Christmas spirit. So you may be thinking, oh, it's just a paper chain, but this project is a bit different. First of all, we are going to learn to create papers for paper chain ourselves, so you can create your own paper chain with your own papers or recycled papers you have. You can invite family if you want, or friends if you live with someone in the house. But the most important, I'm introducing another reflective part. Some of you may know I run a course called Power of Gratitude or Grateful Now for another place where I work, and I'm a strong believer into introducing gratitude into our life. It can change our perspective and the way we feel about life, especially in those times when it's not easy. This year has not been easy. Some people have been really difficult. Many of us been affected in many ways by COVID. So this chain, you are going to create your own papers with different techniques for the chain, but you also will use this part, inside part of the chain, for writing down a simple act of gratitude, something you're grateful for in this year, something that maybe you used to take for granted. I put things here like animals and pets, nature, the smell of summer, people, family, food. But I also put you, my Johnny Happy Place learners, Johnny Happy Place in general, because all that time since April, you've been very supportive. You've been doing classes with me, online, interacting, and Johnny Happy Place kept art as a part of the service, despite the fact that the venue as such is not providing art class. It's been at the moment used mainly for the service around food. So thank you very much, everyone. That's my gratitude for you, and have a go, and I hope those chains will find place on your Christmas tree, so around your house. Bye bye. Hello, let's get started. There are many ways you can create the gratitude Christmas chain we're doing in today's session. I will demonstrate 4 different sources of paper for your chain, but you can also use, and I really like the old book pages, so you have a text and that gives your chain a bit of vintage look. I'm going to use one with watercolor, one with acrylic, one with markers today, and one just a colorful page from the magazine. But you could also use colored pencils, pastels, whatever you have that brings some color. And of course papers, you know, if you have any papers, colorful papers, maybe leftovers from packaging paper, brown paper, packaging paper, again, that would give you vintage look. Have a go. But it is about creating the chain the way you want it, from materials you have. Don't buy anything extra, and including gratitude, acts of gratitude, simple things you're grateful for on each part of the chain. Or maybe not all. No, it'd be nice to have it on each. Okay, so I'm going to, first part is demonstrate how I'm going to paint 3 different paint and color, 3 different types of paper for the chain. The 4th is just colorful page from magazine, and next stage when they dry is just cutting them into separate strips and joining into the chain. So let me get that done. First I'm doing is watercolor. Now I'm not using watercolor paper because first of all it would be a bit of waste, but it's not just about that, it's also about that it's too stiff. So drawing, printing paper, it's fine. If it buckles, don't worry, it will be used in slightly different ways, so it doesn't really affect it. So first I'm doing watercolor. So plenty of water on your paper first, and we're doing wet on wet, which you probably are familiar with. So plenty of water on paper first, and then adding watercolor paint. This is going to be very abstractish. If you want, you can paint some patterns, but I'm just trusting the colors will mix beautifully on paper. And when I cut paper into smaller parts, then those colors will be visible. So water to get this paint moving. Now I go for blue. If you have inks, that works beautifully as well. Okay, so this is my first paper and I'm allowing that to dry. I may have to pick up some of that because you see it's lots of water. So just use paper towel, pick the water up if you need to. I allow that to dry, so I'm leaving that. Second one I'm doing in acrylic paints. Sorry about the noise. And very random shapes. Again, if you want patterns, feel free to do it. I just want to work with color in quite spontaneous way. So I just realized you may not be seeing it fully, so let me turn it. I'm going to swap to bigger brush. And I still have some blue, which I haven't used. Move your brush into different directions. Just have a play. It's all going to be cut into pieces. So you don't have to worry about if it's any type of picture at that moment. Okay, and that's going to dry. And the last one I wanted to show you is something with dry material. So I'm going to use markers, but if you have pastels, are good. Colored pencils, and again that could be if you just decide, oh, I'm just going to do the pattern like dots, then you can do that. But it may be the case you just want to have something, you know, if you have pastel, you can cover quite a lot with color with those markers. I'm quite limited. I'm trying different patterns and shapes again. Or maybe if you like to doodle, you may take your time to doodle some patterns. Okay, so I'm going to carry on with that. Dry my two pieces with paintings, and I bring them back to you when they dry, and I show you how you build a simple gratitude chain. Right, I'm back. My paper has been dried, and look how wonderful it is when you can create your own paper for the Christmas decoration or for whatever you're doing. So what you're doing, you're just cutting them, and you probably know that many of us done those kind of chains when we were children at school. Cut that into longer pieces, and you will be joining them into a chain. I would like you to have reflection on this difficult year everyone experience, and use the, if you have white paper, if you use the paper, use that side for writing down something you're grateful for this year. So I have a few examples here what I'm grateful for. I'm just writing them down, and I'll be using them in my chain. It's a good idea to use packaging or brown paper. Also, it gives you a bit of different look to your chain. And magazine cutouts or magazine pages, rather pages, if they're colorful, look how great they look if you use them for that chain. And that's my acrylic background, and that's example of the marker scribble. And here we go, the watercolor. Use the materials you have. I mean, pastels work beautifully. You may find some scrap papers that you want to use. The only thing I would suggest, give a go for the reflective part, and then you can build up a chain of as long as you want that has some gratitude aspect to it, and will remind you what you're grateful for in this year. So starting with my family part. You can also use stapler. I'm using glue stick. So that's my watercolor background, and that is quite colorful. So let me go with brown. And now the crazy acrylic on. If you have family members in your house, they may be more than happy to join you in creation of gratitude Christmas chain. Allow them to make their own writing and descriptions of what they're grateful for. I'm not using all the chains for gratitude, just a few, so it's not like you have to do it for every single. And of course you build that up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to build up mine and show you the final photo and probably put that on my Christmas tree. Before I finish, there's one more. I'm grateful for my learners here at John a Happy Place. Thank you very much, everyone who's been with me on this journey since April. And I see you next week.